My favorite one, that's why I put it number 10. The other ones were important, but this one's my favorite. Everyone's friend. Everyone's friend. Whenever I talk to a camp director, I always ask them this. If I ask anybody at your camp, who's the director, what would they say? Who's the director? There's a camp, some friends of mine, and we used to go round and round. They had an executive director. Their camp was smaller than the one I was at. They had an executive director, and then like 2 assistant directors, and then they just had a lot of staff. And I used to always ask them, like, well, if I ask a kid at your camp, who's the director, what would they say? And they're like, well, they might say me, they might say him. And I was like, something's wrong with that. Like who's in charge? Like, if the kids don't know and the staff don't know, like your kids should be excited when they see you. Like, they should know you. Like you're a rock star. Like, you're a camp director. You might have the best jobs in the world. Like, act like it. You know, when it's assembly time, like, those kids should be excited when you get up. And they should know who you are. You know, you're not just the person that makes announcements. Be the fun person every now and then. And so, know everybody. Walk around. Talk to people. Not only at your camp with the kids and your staff, but with parents too. Like, let them know who you are. Greet them at the car door. We did an interesting thing this past year. We had check-in. Check-in started at 2 o'clock. And you're in the southeast in the summer. It's hot. It's miserable hot. And so check-in started at 2 on Sunday. They would start lining up before noon to get their first bunk. I don't know why. They just did it. And so it was nuts. And historically, we locked the gate and we wouldn't let them in. We told them to stay in their car. They couldn't walk around camp. You just had to sit there and bake. Not smart. I mean, why did we do that? I have no idea why we did that. And so what would happen is people would drive into camp. They're miserable. They're already angry because it's 100 degrees and cars would overheat out in the driveway. And it was just a bad experience all the way around. And so a year or so ago, I was at an NC State football game, tailgating, which is God ordained. And so I'm hanging out with friends. We're playing cornhole, all that fun stuff you do at a football game before the game starts. And it hit me. I'm like, this would work at camp. I think we could do this. And so got back to camp. We sent out flyers to our parents and their confirmation packets. Come early on Sunday. Bring buckets of chicken. We're going to have a live band out there every Sunday playing music. We want you to come in, hang out. And so a couple of reasons I did that. Number one, we wanted happy people. And so we had to do something to get them out of their cars. So we told them, walk around camp, come meet everybody. You'll have a blast. But number two is I wanted to meet them. Resident camp, it's hard to connect with parents just with check-in and check-out. They're usually in a hurry. But if I could get them there early, let them sit in the woods, listen to some music, eat, I could wander around, I could talk to people, I could get to know them. One of my former bosses told me, it's hard for someone to yell at you when they're friends with you. And so if you've ever had a parent, fuss at you about something, it's usually when they don't know you well. Usually if you have some type of connection with them, at least they're nicer about it. Like I don't want to get yelled at. It's terrible. And so if I can connect with those parents and get to know them a little bit better, then they trust me, they trust our staff better. And so work on being a friend to people. If you're a day camp director, and I got my start in day camp, and I love day camp. And let me tell you this, if you do day camp well, you'd be a great resident camp person. I promise you that. I promise you. The skill set you learn with day camp, it transfers so easily into resident camp work. But if you're a day camp director, you have to be at the car door. It rides in and rides out. You have to be. You've got to talk to those parents. Don't delegate that. You've got to connect with those parents. Be their friend. Ask them questions. Find out what they do. Look at the stickers on their cars. We had an interesting thing about being a friend to someone. Our day camp director was at Rides Out, and I told him, I was like, you can be anywhere you want during the day. I really don't care. But you better be at the car door at Rides In, and you better be there at Rides Out. And so he was like, okay. And I told him to look for these, look for stickers on cars, look for conversation, because he was in his early 20s, and so there's a little bit of a gap between him and the age of the parents, which can be difficult sometimes. And so I said, look for things that are clues on their cars that you can talk about. So he sees the front license plate on a lady's car, and it's, I think it's Iatria Day Spa in Raleigh. Big day spa in Raleigh. Really nice. And so he sees that, walks to the car door, and says, hey, I saw your license plate thing on the front of your car. I bought my girlfriend a gift card there. And she was like, oh, well, that's really nice. And he was like, what's your connection to it? And she says, well, I work there. And he goes, oh, okay. What do you do? And she's like, well, I'm sort of like, she owned them all. Lady's loaded. I mean, we're running around going cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. This is awesome. I think I just spit on you. I'm really sorry. Yes, there is a splash zone.
It's water resistant.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, I like just by being out there and available and being friendly to people. Like, we found a great volunteer, and I think she moved. I think she did. But sorry about the divorce. It was good while it lasted.
Ran it off.
Yeah. But look for those things and be willing to connect and be friends with people.
She said, I just work there?
Huh?
She said, I just work there?
Yeah. She owned the place. That's why Google's great. You found out everything about that lady. Yeah. And so be everyone's friend. It would be sad if I came to your camp and asked, hey, who's the director? And you're the director and they didn't tell me that. That would just be sad. Like, you're better than that. Come on. Own it. Be a rock star. That's what a camp director is.